everyone, and welcome to today's training. If you're watching this video for the first time, my name is Tasneem Khan, and I'm the founder of the IT social media and the Femurepreneurs Tribe. Please let me know in the comments where you are watching this video from. If you have any questions, also drop that in the comments. And if you want to get your copy of the free guide to get started, also comment free, and I will send you the free guide. So let's get started. But before we do, for those of you that are here the first time, like I said, you need to watch the previous videos so you'll be able to build up your online business, right? I'm going to leave links in the description for you to catch up on any videos that you have missed. You can watch those as well. But let's get into what we are talking about today. In today's training, we're going to be talking about the sales framework. Right now, when you build a company, you need to have a sales framework. Without sales, your company is not going to be able to make any profits, and without profits, you're not going to be able to build a profitable company. So let's talk about sales. What do we think about when we think of sales? Right, when we think of sales, we think about selling something, right? And let's think story. Okay, the person that's telling the story, or the storyteller, basically is the seller, and the person that's listening to the story is a buyer. And I'm going to give you guys an example. Do you have a neighbor? I'm going to give you an example of a neighbor, right? And your neighbor is telling you a story, maybe about her husband or her mother in law, or she's talking to you about her children. And generally, the story is more of a complaint, right? Because you'll notice that people don't really tell you positive stories. Generally, when they're telling you a story, especially if it's a neighbor, they want to complain about something, either noise in the area or something, but it's more of it's very negative, right? But it's a story that what they want to tell you. So they become the storyteller, and the person that's listening, which is you now, you become the buyer because you are buying into the story by listening to the story. Right? So they're selling you the story, they're taking away your time here, because also your time that gets taken when you have to stand and listen to a neighbor telling you their story, right? So think about sales as a story. What's the story you are telling when you are making sales? Okay, what story are you telling to your client in order for your client to buy from you, right? So stories basically are ways that we use for clients to actually buy in. So you got to think, what's the story you are telling? And if your story is not getting clients to buy in, then you got to start looking at your story and changing that, right? How do clients come into your business? So the story that I talk is about myself. If I want to get clients, I talk about my story, what I've been through, the challenges I've faced, how I overcame it, and people basically buy into that story because I've basically solved the problems in my life. So they've seen that and they're like, hey, now you can solve the problems for us. And that's how clients come in, right? So you got to ask yourself, what's the story you are telling? And if that story is not selling, right, people are not buying into it, then you got to relook at your story and change it for the person to actually buy into it. Another way to look at sales is at a beggar at a traffic light, right? That beggar gets sales through a play on emotion. I'm going to give you an example. You know, you're driving, you stop at a traffic light and you see a beggar, right? You feel sorry for the person, right? Because you see in the condition in which they're just, they're out there begging, they're sometimes holding a board or they're carrying around a little container, right? And like immediately we don't give in because in our frame of mind we're thinking, hey, why should I help this person? And this person, also got a pair of legs and a pair of hands, and they're looking able and they can go and get a job and all of that. Sometimes we think these things in our mind, and we decide we're not going to help the beggar. But yeah, the beggars in their tattered clothes, they don't really look that good. So advertising is also about the looks, how does your ad look? So for the beggar, basically his entire look is his advert when I think about it. And the play of emotion is that we start feeling sorry for this beggar. So on the first day, we don't give the beggar anything at the traffic light. Again, we see him the second day, carries on third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. By the 10th day, we're already feeling like, hey, you know what, I need to start doing something. On the 11th day, what do you think the person does? Okay, I've done this, and I'm sure many of you are guilty, maybe even sooner. You decide now to give the beggar some money. The beggar has now converted you into a buyer, right? And you are going to be a regular buyer. Because now that I gave the beggar money on the 11th day, I'm not going to wait another 10 days to give this beggar money. because now that I bought, I feel sorry sooner now. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe fifth day, I'm giving the bigger money. Then it'll come maybe every second, third day, I'm giving the bigger money. It'll come down to a lower time frame, right? Because I get so used to giving the bigger money. Now I feel bad when I don't give the bigger money. Can you see what I said? I said I feel bad when I don't give the bigger money. So what product or service you are selling that people need to feel bad that they don't have it? Because if we're not feeling people are not feeling bad that they don't have it, then we're clearly not doing a very good job at selling, right? Because the person should be feeling like, "Yeah, I don't have this I need to get this product, I need to get this service," right? There should be an urgency. There should be like, hey, if I'm not getting, I'm like missing out on something here. But also not just that and feeling bad and missing out, but also like I said, our product or service solves a problem for the person. Okay, at the end of the day, we're also not just selling a service and product. People buy into the results, right? What results is your service and product going to get for them? Because that's what they're really buying into. I know a lot of other gurus will focus on the pain, but I don't want people to be stuck in the pain. I want people to focus on the results, right? Like I said, I if I describe myself, I'll say a results coach because I want to get people results, and I do get people results, whether it's tutoring kids at school or whether it's helping clients to open up their own business. At the end of the day, I focus on getting results. Even when clients have an existing business and want the scale and they want to grow, I have seen results in businesses and help them to grow and scale their businesses. So that's it, providing results for businesses at the end of the day. That's what you want to do. So when your product or service, it's all about providing the results. Also, what are you really selling? Example, have you seen a toothpaste ad, right? What is it? It's all about not just the toothpaste. They're not saying that. They're saying, oh, you'll have a good day today. You know what? Go and seize the day. Confidence. Toothpaste, if your breath smells nice and your teeth is looking nice and white and pearly, you have confidence now because you are feeling better, you smell better, you have good breath if you're talking to people all the time in meetings and stuff. Also, if you look at detergents making your clothes look good or perfumes making you smell nice, right? It's like confidence, have a better day. That's what they're really selling there. It's confidence. They're not telling you, oh, the toothpaste is what I am selling, or the perfume is what I'm selling, or detergent. Look at ads properly and see what they're really selling. They're trying to tell you that if you use those products and service, you will feel better, look better. That's a result they're basing you selling. The confidence, right? Because when we look good, we feel good, right? If you look at Coke is about sharing moments with your family. If you look some of these Coke ads, it's either with your friends, it's either with your family, it's either you sharing a meal. With Coke, it's like about sharing those different moments. It's all about the moments, right? And if you look at McDonald's is about a family getting together for a meal. So each ad shares something different. Okay, McDonald's, family getting together for a meal. It's also about less time because you don't have to prepare meals. So now you get to spend more time with your family. You go out, and then we're also looking at cost factor. And McDonald's is that it's cheaper, you know, to buy the meal, to spend with your family. They're getting all the ingredients, making it, and it's taking up time. So just more time with your family, I would say. The sales is in the follow up. This is very important. A lot of people don't follow up. And I've said this before, you give someone the price, the client goes cold, and I think I've talked about this in leads, and then you don't follow up after you've given someone the price. And I said our job is not to give people the price. Our job is to find out what the client really wants. If you are selling a dress, what does the client want the dress for? An outing, what sort of outing are you going? It's going to be a day, it's going to be a night. Okay, you saw a picture of that dress, would you be interested in other designs? Would you like to see other colors? What sizes are you looking? Can I check and see if I have availability for what you're looking? Instead of giving a price, build a conversation with a client. The more conversations you have, the more sales you'll have. And then also to follow up. Not it, I chatted to the client and I didn't get back, okay? So maybe you did chat to the client. You never closed the client, but that client was interested in your service and product. Maybe you have new stuff now. Go back and chat to the client. Like I said, 3 or 4 chats down the line, you should be adding them into some sort of group where you can provide them some sort of VIP service because they reached out to you. That's something you want to look at, okay? Reach out and message people. Now, a lot of people don't do this, but it's good to message people. Message people when someone likes your post. Message and say, hey, thank you for sharing or giving some love on my post. Hey, thank you for commenting on my post. What did you like about my post? You know, what attracted to you about my post? This is all private messages that we're sending to people. People that even like your post need to get messaged. People that commented on your post that need to get messaged. We don't do this. It's like, oh, whoever liked. It doesn't matter right now. You know, but people that are liking your stuff are people that are interested. So go ahead and start messaging. thank them, right? That's all it starts with. We're not selling anything. We're just thanking people for, giving your post some love or for commenting. If they commented, then you're gonna message them. Hey, I see you commented my post. You know what? Like, what caught your attention? What did you like about it? Something. Start a story. Start a conversation there. Okay, and stop selling. Sales is about selling, but yes, stop selling and start sharing your story, because your story is the one that's going to sell, not you telling your client, hey, get this for 100 bucks, 50 bucks, or whatever it is that you're selling, and just putting a price to it. Okay, so sales, like I said, it's much more. It's the story. If you really focus on it, the story sells. Let your story sell itself. Okay, now if we actually had to dive into sales, like I like booking calls and setting up appointments, these are some of the things that I would work on, right? State your intention when you get someone into a conversation on a call. So when people turn up to an appointment, basically, they generally have a problem you can solve. That's the reason they're coming to you. People come to me, the problem that I can solve for you is help you start a business, or I can help you to scale your business, or I can help you advertise your business. These are the things people are struggling with, getting their businesses out there. They're not growing online, and my whole idea is to actually give you an online presence for your business and then help you to grow that business online and make it a profitable online business, right? Also, be upfront with your clients, build a rapport, build trust, and then you would lead into conversion. So it works in three things: being upfront, being clear, being transparent to the client, building that rapport with your client so we can get into the trust factor, and then it moves into a conversion. So get the first yes when you frame the intention. You're 20% there to almost closing. What's the first yes? The first yes is when you frame your intention on the call or in a chat, and you tell the client what it's all about. And then you get them to get their first yes to say, yes, you can proceed. The first yes is the most important. As soon as they give you a go ahead, yes, okay, Tasneem, tell me more about this. Oh, yes, Tasneem, yes, continue. I will like, that is where you're proceeding now to tell them more things. Okay, once you get that yes, you're almost there. Okay, 20% to close, 20% there to almost closing, right? Because they gave you the yes. Don't ask permission to help. Instead, say, let's see if I can help you. Help you, all right? Stop sounding apologetic. So a lot of people are like, they ask permission, can I? So we're asking the person, not, can I? Oh, I'm so sorry. We become, you are in the sales position right now. The salesperson, you are the one that's leading the sale, right? But to your client, obviously, that's not the way. You don't make the client feel that way. Make them think they're in charge, but basically, you are in charge of the sale. You're not taking the lead. You're the one that's asking the questions, but you're also listening at the same time. So the person that's listening is a very important person, not the person that's talking all the time, because you want your client to do most of the talking. Now, I'm a person that talks a lot, but when I get a client on a call, right, I start listening. Immediately, I switch off talking a lot and I start listening, and I start taking notes of what the client is saying to me while they're talking, but also engaging in the conversation here and then, asking the important questions that I need to ask in order to help my client. So, people buy into you before they buy into your product. This is also very important. How do you show up for that call? If you're going to be someone that's showing up there with no confidence in yourself, do you think that someone is going to buy into you if you're not confident, if you're not sure of yourself? If you're not sure of yourself, the client is obviously, hey, they also not going to lack confidence in you. They're not going to buy into your service or product because they don't believe in you. So make sure when you show up with that confidence, right? Show up like, hey, you know what you're doing, instead of going into a call and not being sure of yourself, or starting a conversation and you don't even know how to assist the client. So that's why asking the most important questions in the beginning of your call is also important, or your conversation, you're asking questions to be able to assist your client. Okay, how to close if I don't know how to help and who to help? So they comes back down to this: how do you close if you don't know how to help and who to help? How to help basically is come back to the questions, asking your clients questions. Who to help now? At the end of the day, we can't help everyone, then we help no one. So basically, being you got to choose the type of clients you want to work with. I call something called headache clients. Literally, I've given them a label and say, I don't want to work with headache clients. So if you come in a call and I see these red flags in you, right, I would put you in a list and be okay, I'm not going to work with you. Even if you have the funds and the money and all of that, if I feel this person is going to be a headache client to me, I would not take them out. I'm like, keep your money, it's fine. I would probably tell you, I'm gonna put you on a waiting list or something, because I already know in the back of my mind I'm not prepared to work with this client. Because you'll already start seeing red flags in the client, and you'll be able to say, hey, this client is gonna just give me a headache. They're not gonna do the work, they're just gonna pay the money. probably come in, not do the work, and say the program is not working, and I cannot, like, I have requirements that you need to meet, not just pay me to work with me, but I want people that are going to do the work. At the end of the day, if you tell me my goal this name is to start an online business, right? I want to make this business profitable. This is how much I want to earn every month. And if I give you action steps to take and you don't take that steps, do you think that I want to work with you? So, like, I don't need people that's going to do the work. It's going to give me feedback. you know, these are the type of people that I want to work with. So be selective of who you want to work with. And then of the base, I know some people know we're desperate. We're desperate for like funds or finances, so we want to work with just anyone who's willing to pay us. And then we sit with this problem because you got this one, the client that's being a headache to you. And like, how do you work if someone is just interrupting that piece of your mind? No, it's very difficult to work with that. Okay, so end of the day, this is some of the things that you can look at about when you want to work with clients. This is just personally me about the type of clients like I want to work with. I'm not saying everyone's going to be a headache client. That's why you have these conversations or you have these phone calls with people so you can decide. You are in charge of who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with, right? How are you going to get them to trust you if you don't trust yourself? Brings you back to confidence. If you don't trust yourself, basically, uh, to show up, to be able to help the client, then the client is not going to trust you. Clients can feel that energy even when you're on a call, right? I prefer doing video calls with my clients, not just a normal call or just having conversations. I'll be like, if you want to work with me, let's jump on a video call. You see me, I see you, because it's the only way that we can feel each other's energy over that. And like, I can tell, okay, is this a person that's going to be willing to do the work? Is this a person that's serious about their goals, serious about their life, wants to make those changes, is going to be, following through on the steps that I give them to take. So I want to know that I can work with quality leads. So these would come also to qualifying your leads. So when you get leads at the end of the day, you want to turn them to sales, you get them in a conversation or on a call and you qualify them and say, okay, no, this is lead qualifies, and put them in. Okay, so that's something to look at. I give you value, you feel the need to give me something back, right? So at the end of the day, I'm doing a free training right now, right? And some of you who are in this free training, you have been in my paid programs as well. So you wouldn't have been in that paid program if I didn't give you value, right? So if I give you value, what do you feel? The need to give me something back. That something back is basically where we talk about the sale, right? If you find value in what I'm giving you, you'd want to pay for that. And this is where the funds come in, or your money comes in, or your sale come in. If a person gets value from you, they will pay you. If a person gets value from you, they will pay you because they feel the need to give something back to you, because what you're providing them with is immense value, right? So this covers the first part of stating your intention. If there's anything that you didn't understand in that, you can put a question through in the comments and I will get back to you with that. But this is all about the first part of your sale and stating your intention. We're now going to move on. But like I said, if there's anything that you didn't understand, you want me to explain, you can just put a question and I will get to your question. Right? The next thing is putting your client in a hot seat, right? When a client gets on a call with you, acting as if everything is okay, start asking questions to peel back the client's layers and get to the core. So sometimes I get a client will be acting like, no, everything is fine with my business, no, I started, no, it's all going well, but they're unable to scale, they're struggling, they've tried methods and stuff like before that didn't work for them, and I'll be asking all these questions, right? So I get to know the client better, because why are you on the call in the first place? If your business was doing so well, you wouldn't be on a call with me, right? But obviously you came on this call because you want me to help you to build your business, you want to grow, you want to scale, you want to make it profitable, so hence you got on a call with me. Okay, if I can help you, I will. If not, I will not waste your time. There's another thing to also let the client know, that you're not going to waste their time, but also you need to remember you cannot waste your time as well. You're just telling this to the client that you will not waste their time. But back of the mind, you also don't want to waste your time if the client is not qualified. Okay, and you know that this is not the client for you. So let the client know at the beginning that you don't want to waste their time, because the client has also taken out time to get on the call with you or have this conversation with you, right? That's if you're doing it via chat. Um, so let the client know, I'm not going to waste your time, because we don't want to do time wasting, right? So you also ask the client, okay, what challenges are you facing and for how long? So how long has this client been facing a challenge? If it's not a challenge, maybe it's a product you're selling. Hi, did you try to get this product from anywhere else? How long have you been looking for the product? And think, see if it's a product and it's not a service. These are sort of the questions you can have, right? And you can ask. What have you tried and how has that worked out for you? So maybe a client tried to get this product somewhere else, or tried a service that they wanted that you are now offering, and they tried somewhere else and it didn't work out for them, right? So they would basically give you feedback on that. And then you can ask them from a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you? Right? Because sometimes people are get tired, they try different things and it doesn't work out for them. So here they are, they got on a call with you because they thinking, hey, if I get on this call, maybe this person can help me. So you are the person that's going to help them. That's the reason they're there, because they are probably tired. They do want a solution for the problem. And then you ask them, if this keeps going on, what do you think would happen? Right? If they don't find a solution for the problem, what would happen? Okay. And you can keep other questions you can ask them, is this what you want? So what is your plan? And then we empathize and we don't sympathize, right? So these are some of the questions you can ask them, like I said, is what you want, is what is your plan? Because they have a problem. So what do they want to do about that problem? What is it that they want to solve? Is okay, good. Do they want to stick with the problem? Do they want to solve their problem? What's their plan going forward? And like I said, we don't empathize. We empathize, we don't sympathize. The reason why we don't sympathize, if we get stuck in our client's problem, we will not be able to help them. That's why we empathize and we don't sympathize. Because the minute we start sympathizing, we automatically get in the emotions of our clients. We're on the same level of emotion now, and we are stuck in the same problem that they are. If we are stuck, we cannot help the client to move on. That's why we empathize and we don't do sympathy. So getting your client in the hot seat means just to ask your client questions. Questions, they're gonna help you to help them. Right? So you can make a list of questions for your services or products that you would like to ask your client. These are just a few examples, right? Of some types of questions that you can ask your client when you put them in the hot seat. The next thing you want to talk about is after your hot seat, we want to get into, where's my slide? Okay, there's your. We want to talk about the brightness of the future, right? Talking about the brightness is where you want to show them that they have a bright future ahead, that they can get results. This is what we're talking about. So, why did you want to look into this today, your service or product? So state whatever your service or product is, because now you are asking them questions after you found out everything that you needed to find out from them. And then you ask them, what do they know about your service or product? If they have kids, or what do you want for your kid? Because I mean, this plays a major role. If you got something that will also impact the entire family, you can ask. Then you can ask questions like, how much do you understand about the service and product? And then finally, you can say, now that you understand everything about the service and product, how would you like me to help you? This is a very important question. Now that you understand everything about the service and product, how would you like me to help you? And then ask them, why is that important to you? Right? This is another question you can ask. When people want to solve a problem, now there is a urgency deep within them, right? That's the reason people got with you on the call. They want to solve a problem, so there is an urgency deep within themselves. And then you will ask, on a score from 1 to 10, how committed are you? So you want to know, this person has a problem, right? How committed are they to solving the problem? So you also know now, is the person going to do the work? So you're qualifying them here as well, in a way. Then show the client the intention to change now before the problem becomes a real challenge. I am going to give you an example. Let's use skincare. Let's just say someone is not taking good care of their skin. They're not applying maybe sunblock, right? And if you don't apply sunblock, you can end up with like maybe like skin cancer, or sort of things like with being out in the sun. So your skin would get really damaged. So if they don't sort out these skin problems now, what would happen at a later stage? Can you see? So show the client that if they change now, they can prevent all that problems from happening. So the future can be bright instead of the future being dull. So what does the brightness of the future look like? Good, nice, glowing skin instead of getting skin cancer. Yeah. So these are some of the questions that we would ask to them after we explain to them about the service and why they got on the call today, how much you know about our service and product, is this what they want, and all of that. And then a score of 1 to 10, how committed are they? So it all depends on your service and product, the commitment, and then showing them if they don't change, how the problem can become a real challenge. The next thing I want to look at is deal size conversion, right? Now you are selling a service or product, right? So it's A times B times C. So it's price converted and leads. So let's just say now your price is 2,000 rands. You can convert this into dollars, into euros, into pounds, whatever currency you have, right? And then 2000 times the converted, if you converted 80 people, right? And you had only 200 leads. From your 200 leads, you converted 80 people at 2000, you made 160K, right? 160,000, right? um so that's a good deal size conversion if that was your price point, if that was your conversion from 200 leads. So before this we did a training on leads. So imagine you brought those 200 leads and you converted 80 at a price of 2000. So whatever your price point is, I always say use your average deal size and work with that. So for people that want to work with me, like I've been saying, requirements to work with me is what do you want, right? How much you want and what are you willing to do to make that money. People must be willing to take action and willing to give feedback. So if you want to work with me, that's the 4 steps you need to follow. I would definitely ask you what you want. Start a business, scale a business, all of that, right? Then I would say how much you want to make, right? Money. And then you must be willing to take action to make that money and you must be willing to give feedback. If you can't do any of the 4 steps, I will disqualify you to be working with me, right? So if you were to work with me to achieve all these results, I'm just giving examples, right, for requirements to work with me. You can also give that to your client if you want, or whatever your requirements are, right? If you're willing, like, if you were to work with me to achieve all these results you talked about, how would you feel? So getting back to our client, if you're asking your client a question, this would be one of it. Now, if your client wants to achieve results, right, how would they feel if you could actually get them to achieve that results? How would they feel? So ask them questions. If I could help you, your skin to get better, you know, get more healthier, get more radiant, how would you feel? How would you feel to spend all that money? So if it's all about money, if it was all about money, then you would ask them how would they feel. One of the things I've also noticed, people want money but they're not really motivated by money. And if you're really motivated by money, you would know what to spend it on. Like you'll get people to say, no, I want like 100,000 or I want 1 million, but what would you spend it on? If you don't know what you're going to spend your money on, you are not motivated by money. Okay? If you're motivated by money, you will know what you spend your money on. Like when I did this training with my mentor Paul, and it came to money motivation about what we would spend our money on, he gave made us write this 200 reasons, and it played a big part. If I didn't have that money, I wouldn't be able to achieve all those 200 things. And if I had the money, what are the 200 things I'd be able to do now that I have the money? So there's like a long list of 200, So think about that. If you, whatever amount you want to make every month, even if it's your monthly goal, what do I want to make every month? And when I make this every month, what do I want to spend it on? Because if you don't know what to spend it on, you're really not motivated by money. Okay? And that's why some of us, like, there's no money motivation, and then we're not making sales because we don't even know what we're going to do with the money when it comes in. So you got to have some sort of motivation. Next, it's all about making your client feel heard and valued, right? People forget. So while you're having this conversation with your client, or if you're doing like online call or you're on a call, people forget sometimes like what you spoke about. What you can do is recap what the client said to you, so you can recap their pain points, the problems with possible solutions, and say, does that sound right? Because now we want to get yeses from this. So your real challenges are, and then you would state what the challenges were, and that's another yes. And you want to work with me as an expert so you can get whatever results they're supposed to get, and they would say yes. Then you say, does that sound about right? Yes. So you can see when client feels heard and valued because you're recapping everything that they're saying. How many yeses are you getting here? That's a lot of yeses. People don't care if you can. People don't care if you can help them unless you can demonstrate you can. So if you can't show somebody that I've listened to you, I've listened to all your problems, your challenges, this is the possible solutions, they are not really going to want to work with you. They're not going to want to spend their money. They're not going to want to take the sale because you don't really care about the problem that they're trying to solve. Whether even if it's selling a dress, like for an event that they want to attend, you're not really paying attention to what it is that they want the dress for. You're more interested in giving them the price than trying to help them to look nice for an event. That's the reason they want the dress. But you didn't ask that question. You just gave the price because they asked you for the price. So it's all you gave, right? So you didn't really care to help. So people don't care if you can help them unless you demonstrate you can, right? So this is very important to make the client feel heard and valued. Always recap what the client said to you, their pain points, their problems, their solutions, and get them to say yes. Does this sound right? So your challenge, your real challenges are, that should be a yes. You want to work with me as an expert, so you can. That should be yes. Does that sound about right? That's another yes. So there's so many yeses you're getting here, right? You're so close to closing. The next one you're definitely going to get, and a lot of people find this challenge, is objection, right? But when someone gives an objection, we are going to divert that objection. It's called objection diversion, right? To overcome objection, choose the area to focus on. And the area we want to focus on is the client's results, not on the objection they're giving us. But you can tell them, like, snap the client's focus away from the problems to where they need to be. All right, where does your client want to be? What results do they want to see? So when your client gives you an objection, then you can go back and tell them, hey, but isn't this what you told me about? Isn't this is what you want to see? So ignore the objection and divert the attention. Ignore the objection and divert the attention and get them back, refocus to the intention. That is where they want to be, their results. Someone will say, can I think about it? Okay, can I discuss with my partner? These are some of our objections. No money. Too expensive, right? What is the cost of not taking care of your skin right now? What's the cost? How much would it cost you? It costs this year. Next year it costs some more. It'll inflate in the following year. It's going to keep costing you. Remember the cost factor. The price is not going to be the same this year as it is next year. The price is not going to be the same this month. In fact, next month the price would change because we know that inflation keeps rising. So prices keep changing all the time. Prices never stay the same every month. Sometimes prices change every week too, right? So things are not constant. So if you invest now, you've actually locked yourself in at this price point right now to sort out your problem. So divert the attention, take it back to the results. You clearly said to me you want to sort this out. Okay, you want to talk to your partner. How about you pay a deposit right now? We get your partner on a call, because if you go back and explain to your partner what I explained to you, you might not explain to your partner correctly. But if you pay a deposit right now, we can get your partner on the call and explain to your partner, you know? And also with partner objection, how many times have you bought something without your partner knowing? Many times. I'm telling you, ladies. Even gents, you bought things without your partner knowing. Your partner was not upset or angry with you. We've made purchases without our partner knowing. So these are things that you can tell them as well. Okay. Um, no money objection. The no money objection also, people, I told you, find money for the things that they want, not for the things they need. And if you go back to no money, how important is this to you right now? Because you told me from a scale to 1 to 10 that you are so committed, right? Imagine you had an emergency right now. Where would you get that funds from? You would find that money right now to invest, right? To get this sorted out. Too expensive compared to what? My service or product is different. Like, I've had that and I'm like, compared to what? Is anyone else offering you turn your WhatsApp chats into cash? It's a unique product program. If you're saying this program is too expensive, I want to know compared to what? Because there's no one else offering this program. I'm the first to actually bring turn your WhatsApp chats into cash, right? But I'm sure once people get into the program, someone's going to say, hey, I'm doing my own program, or I'm betting this program, I'm starting something else, or I'm going cheaper. You never know, right? But at the end of the day, if someone is saying too expensive compared to what, because the real expense here is not taking the service and product now and focusing on your results for the client. Focus on the client's results. If they don't invest now in your service and product, go back to the damages that they would see, and how much more they would be spending to solve that problem. A lot more. Okay, the last part of this is assuring the deal, right? So we feel the same way when someone is trying to sell us something. Fear of the unknown. We want a guarantee, right? So what guarantee can someone give us, right? Sometimes people are new to the product. They don't know your product or service enough. Sometimes they lack confidence in the offer. They can lack confidence in you, or they can lack confidence in themselves. So if you care enough, you will close. Let me get say that again. If you care enough, you will close. So if you care enough, you will close that deal, right? So it's for you to care. I know sometimes the clients, we say they should care about, oh, their skin and things, but also you need to care about the client enough to close, right? And value stack your offer. What are you offering? Value stacking is telling the client you're going to get A, B, C, D. These are the things that you're going to get. A, you're going to get this. B, you're going to get this. C, you're going to get this. So first, maybe you're going to get your skin consultation. Then B, we're going to do a skin analysis. Then C, we're going to give you the like five or three or different sets of products that you're going to do. D, you're going to come into our daily program for the skincare routine. So you can see, like, I'm just making points up there, but you're going to value stack each of this offer and say in total for each of these things it works out separately, but if you take this entire package today, you're going to get it at a special price. So let's just say A costed maybe $100 and B costed 200 and C costed 300 and 400. If it's the entire thing is coming to like $1,000. But if you sign up for this today, only today, I will give you the entire offer, right? For like maybe like $750. So you're saving like $250. That's like a lot to save. So you can just change to whichever currency in your country. I'll just use dollars now as an example. But at the end of the day, you're only getting this on this call, or you're only getting this in this conversation. It's only being valid for now. So I want to explain something about value stacking. When you make an offer to a client, and you know that everything costs $1,000, and you told them that the offer is only valid for this period, this time, you cannot go back tomorrow, the next day, or any other day and give the client the offer, because then the client will know that you are not a person of your word. So if I say to someone, okay, we are launching this at this price, if you come in at another time, I will not give it to you at that price. And I have done that with clients. If you didn't join me for the launch and got it the launch price, please don't come back to me in a couple of days because I gave a time period and say you want to join, because I will not let you join in. I am a woman of my word. You want to be an entrepreneur, you got to keep to your word. You can't be saying, okay, no, this is the time frame. Now you are moving that time frame, or you're giving allocations, or you're giving discounts, right? I don't. Really want to talk so much about discounts and offers, but I would give it to someone that showed up on a call, definitely. But generally, if you go to the website, like I would say, prices are different. Like if you look at my WhatsApp chats into cash, I got a dollar price and I got a rand price, right? If you buy in dollars, it's cheaper than the rand. I'm encouraging people to use online payments via PayPal, right? But if you want to use don't want to use PayPal, you're going to use the rands and you're not going to pay in dollars, then you're going to pay a bit more. So I made that price difference there. So it's up to people which one they would want to take. You pay in dollars, you pay cheaper. You pay in rands, you pay more. So that's something you can actually put out there for your clients. So if you go on my sales page for turn your WhatsApp into cash in, no, sorry, turn your WhatsApp chats into cash on that sales page, you'd be able to see that. All right. Also, sell your expertise and not your time, right? At the end of the day, we value time. Time is like the most expensive currency, and we all want to have a lot more time to do the things that we love instead of spending all of your time in your business, because then it's like you're working full time, and that's not something that you want to do. And I really value my time with my family, and I spend a specific time in my business. So, when we were running our product programs, I remember for turn your WhatsApp chats into cash, that was like me spending 2 hours a week running a business. But now that I'm actually looking to build bigger and go more international, I'm spending currently 4 hours on my business. And that's all the time that I want to dedicate for my business. I was like, this is the time can dedicate. The rest of the time is dedicated to other things that I want to do. So sell your expertise and not your time, so you can do other things with your time. Okay, because we are not getting people to say, oh, I'm taking you consultation 1 hour, 2 hours, and you're selling your time frames, unless you really are doing consulting and it's something that you need to do. So you'd want to sell yourself by the hour. Sell a package. Let people get into your package, into your product, into your service of what you're offering. Okay, it's not about handling the objection, it's about diverting the attention to buy and the intention to solve the problem, right? So again, it's all about the intention to solve the client's problem. Again, we are not going to handle the objection, but just divert the client's attention to buy, right? Because your intention is to solve the problem. Okay, potential stays a potential until you don't take action, and this goes to clients. Okay, so what I said, your leads are potential clients. They will stay potential clients until you don't take action to turn that client into convert the client into a sale, right? They will just stay potentials. So it's up to you to be able to close sales. And I think I've given so much information over here on closing sales. And I said it's not just something where you would just give someone the price. And you go to a doctor, and I've given this example before. The doctor is not just going to give you the price, he's going to ask you, what's your symptoms? Okay. And then he's going to take it from there. So the same thing with you as well when you're making sales. Sales is a story, it's a conversation happening between two people, right? Conversation that's happening between one is telling the story, and then the other person will probably go back and ask questions. So for me, the client is telling me their story about themselves. I'm the one that's asking questions about the story. Okay, so this happened, why it happened. Okay, You would do this with your neighbor, you would do this with a friend, you would do this with your boss at work, right? Your boss tells you something, gives you a whole breakdown. You would ask questions. Everyone asks questions. So you got to be asking the right questions in order to help your client. So think to yourself, what questions do I need to ask my client when the client comes to me? When the client sees my ad, when the client reaches out to me, when somebody comments, what messages am I sending to them? You got to start making conversations. Now, for people that say, I don't want to show my face online, that's fair enough. You don't want to show your face online. But I'm sure you get on a phone call. You can get on a phone call. You can start chatting to somebody in a conversation as well, right? So think about making that. Think about doing that. So that's all I can really say basically for sales. There's so much more I want to say. There's so many other people that will also give you sales tips and things that you can do. One thing I would like to say is that it's so much possible today to check your clients with everything that we have with AI. So there's no reason for us to be leaving money on the table. Every client is trackable. Even the person that walks into your retail store, you can track them and get them to rebuy, because if someone walks into your store and you let that person walk out, you let the money walk out as well. People are always interested. Those are all leads. People are interested in your services and products. It's you that doesn't know how to basically, and this is the main problem I've had. This is not the first time. People don't have a problem with getting leads. Leads are the easiest to get. People have a problem with closing. They're not really good at sales. They want the money to come in, but they're not good at telling the story, having the conversation, asking the right questions, and building that trust to the client. And follow up. They're not good at following up. I've had so many times where I've reached out to people, right? And for those of you who's using business WhatsApp, I know you have the automated message. I also have that as well. But I basically go back to my clients and I still start a conversation after the automated message. Other people that have business WhatsApp and I've reached out to them, they have never got back to me after the automated message. So for those of you who forget to message your clients after an automated message, maybe turn your automation messages off so you can respond to your client when your client says hi. Because a lot of people will just say hi, but they don't tell you what you want. So you got to say, hey, hi, thank you so much for reaching out to me. Most of my conversations with you guys, it's hi, thank you so much for reaching out to me. Hi, hope you are well, because I want to know that, hey, you're well. How can I assist you today? What can I do to help you, assist you, whichever words you want to use? But that's something that I do. I personally do this to be able to build that. But as we grow, we're not going to be able to personally do this. We're going to be able to get assistants that do it. And obviously, now with AI, you get an AI agent, and an AI agent answers all your questions. But when you're building out your business, it's so good to be able to have those conversations yourself, because it allows you to learn about your clients, and it allows you to basically refine your framework, your sales framework. It allows you to actually get better at it, and we want to get better in it. The more conversations we have, the more calls that we take, we can get better at selling. The more no's that we get means later on we'll get yes. Don't think that after this training now you automatically get full yeses. No, you're gonna get no's first, but you gotta persevere, right? After 10 no's, you're gonna get a yes. Think about the beggar at the traffic light. It took like almost 10 days, right? For him to basically convert one person. Sometimes it might take longer. Currently, right now in the sales world, if I have to think about it in a business, it takes about 60 days to acquire a client. Before it was like about 30 days. Now 60 days. So for the next 60 days, people need to see me all the time. Then you get so fed up of seeing me and say, I'm tired of seeing Tasneem for the next 60 days, seeing her content, seeing her program, seeing her training. Tasneem, 60 days. It gets into that person's mind, into their framework. So you got to be consistent at the end of the day. People want to see you showing up often. Can you do that? Because it takes, people will take advertising, right? I've had advertising clients before. They'll advertise for 1 month and say, hey, it's not working. You can't advertise for 1 month. If you've taken a social media marketing and advertising package and me, I've made a campaign for you. You got to be on that campaign for 3 months. You got to be on that for 3 months to see results. You can't come to me and say, I'm going to do a 1 month package. I just want to do a once off. I had people once off ad and I've got nothing. But I have like a group, this Facebook group with like over 24,000 people. And I even had to show people a formula and say, if from that 24,000 people, you got 24 clients to buy from you. Wasn't that wonderful? You got 24 clients. So you ping, and if you look at the rate of what you're paying me and the rate of what you're making, because your average price point might be more than what you're paying me for the advertising, you are still an ROI. You might be making 10 times the ROI than what you paid me. Isn't that what it's? So your return on investment is higher. I literally sometimes have to break this down and explain this to people. So sales is not just about, like I said, selling. It's about your story, how you're showing up, how often you're showing up, How often is your client seeing you and interacting with you? I'm saying don't nag your clients when I said make those lists, but you got to continuously message them. One day in, one day out, one day in, one day out, because you don't want to nag them. Or you can miss 2 days. Maybe today, then miss 2 days, then do a next day. And then you can increase or decrease frequency. And then we don't want to nag people. We don't want to push them. We also don't want to be cheesy, like some people say, or too salesy. But we want to give value, and we want to turn that value into sales. Like I say, if you feel you've got something valuable out of me, what's your automatic response? To pay me for something that I've given you. You've gotten value from me, so you want to get into my paid program because hey, this needs provided value. Now I want to upgrade. I want more. I want more of what she's giving. So yeah, let me get into a paid program. So, guys, this is basically about sales. Sales is not a difficult thing. When people tell me I don't like sales, I hate sales, I'm not good at selling, and I'm like, but you have sold a story. In fact, all of us are born salespeople. We cry when we're small. We cry, and guess what? We get milk, right? When we're babies. We know how to sell. We sell our cry. We get what we want. So, we've always been selling. We just don't know we're selling as we started to learn how to speak, right? We started selling stories. You go late to work because you got up late, but you tell your boss there was traffic. That's you lying right there. You saw the story. You need to spin it in the right way, and your boss is believing you, right? So we sell stories every day. All of us are salespeople. There's not a person that's not selling a story. Okay? So people start believing in what you have to tell them. So go back, think about your story, think about the questions you would ask clients about. If the client had inquired about your service and product, what sort of questions would you ask them about them? How are you going to get them to say all those yeses, and how are you going to close? And how are you actually solving the problem for them? Come back to the dress. Yes, I have the dress. This is the one you can wear it for your event. There. It solved the problem. They needed the dress. You have the dress. It's the correct thing. It's gonna make them look good at the event. And it's at the right price, good quality, everything. They would get it as soon as possible. Maybe it's a last minute event. Maybe your delivery time is fast. It all depends on that as well. Quality, delivery, service delivery, customer service. So sales is a lot of things. Sales is like the biggest thing in the company. First is marketing, because without marketing, you're not going to get leads, right? So marketing and advertising your business is like the number one thing. A lot of people like to cut marketing when they're going through financial difficulties in their business. They would go cut marketing. I remember when COVID happened, people were cutting their marketing cost, but the people that weren't cutting were making more money because they were advertising more. The rest of the business stopped marketing and advertising, and other people were like marketing advertising. They were the ones that were making money. So you don't ever do that, right? If you think this is okay, we took a turn, we're taking a dive, the economy is being. This is where you should be marketing and advertising more, because other companies would cut the expenses for marketing and advertising. Big mistake, big no. You need to increase marketing and advertising so you can get more leads, so you can get more sales, right? And remember to close, right? And like I said, if you care enough, you will close. If you care enough, you will close, right? So guys, if you have any questions on sales, please put your questions in the comments and I will answer that for you. Also, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, I'm going to put links in the description to the previous videos so you can also catch up on that if you missed out on anything. And if you still don't have the free guide to get started, right, I'm also going to leave a link in the description for that. If you want, you can also comment free and I will send it to you, and I will just send everything to you in the comments, right? You can also do that as well. I'm also going to leave my contact details for you. So if you're watching this video for the first time, you need to get in contact with me if you have any questions. I'm sending you my WhatsApp number and I'm sending you my email. This is where you can contact me if you need any help, you want to get into the programs, you want to join our community. So we have a free community that's only for females though. uh, if you're a male, you can join any of my programs, because in the programs you're not actually meeting or interacting with the females, because female is mostly about females. But I do sometimes get males reaching out to me and say, "Hey, this training program is so great. I really like it. Can I, please join?" And like, finding value in it. So if you find yourself that hey, you're a male and you feel like you're missing out, yeah, you can buy into the program. Um, but my community is strictly for females. Maybe I'll start like a sub community. I'm like thinking about it, where if the females don't mind, we can have like a mixed community of males and females. For those of you who are generally, because I mean, like I said, I would vet everybody and like qualify you and say, hey, okay, these are the people that I think I can put into the community of males and females, and we can create something like that. Because I do feel sorry for the males that do actually watch my training, who actually see all of my posts and stuff that I put out there and actually do reach out to me, and then I don't have that for you guys. So I will think about that. But my main vision, goal, everything is all about helping women, female-preneurs. Like I said, it's about helping women to start and build a highly profitable online business. Well, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna love you and leave you guys and see you in the next training. Love you lots.